Welcome back to the channel. I've taken about 8 months off from doing videos. Apparently, I just went back and checked the page, but had a couple of good games in the last couple of days, and really just wanted to kind of talk about the current state of World of Warships. And when I say talk about it, I mean vent. So since the CD upgrade or change a little bit ago, the game has really changed a lot, and in my opinion, it's not for the better. I think CV gameplay needs to be adjusted a little bit. As most of you know, I'm a big DD player, and I think DDs have been heavily impacted by the game. But anyways, there's a lot of other stuff going on in the game. There seems to be an influx of low skill players, I guess. I don't know how to say it. But I think the next couple of videos that I'm going to post will kind of demonstrate what the current player meta is like. So in this game, I took a look at the matchmaking mod, and the other team is extremely strong. And this is another thing that's kind of frustrating. In my opinion, they need to do something about matchmaking, because it's been super frustrating lately. And this isn't something that I feel. A lot of the players, and I do play with some really strong players, they've all voiced concern about this. So in this game, this is a great example of what I mean by the matchmaking meta. The other team is completely loaded with Unicum and Super Unicum players. Literally, I would probably say 8 of the 12 or 9 of the 12 players on the other team are extremely strong players. 50 to 60% win rates, and averaging 90 to 120, 130,000 damage. These are what I would consider above average players. On my team, however, the majority of my team is made up of people barely achieving 50%, mostly in the 40s, mid 40s to the high 40s, with a couple being in the 50s. And the ones that are in the 50% range, with the exception of the Des Moines in front of my ship, are low average damage. They might have a 52 or 53% win rate, but they have like 40k average damage at tier 10, which is stupid low. Get on with the game. Our DD started off AFK, eventually pulled up upon request, smoked up the Des Moines. This Akazuki averages like 20k damage. The Des Moines is probably the only, stats-wise, probably the only solid player on our team. My numbers in the Kremlin are pretty decent, but I wouldn't say I'm anything special in a battleship by any means. The Des Moines in front of me is a pretty good Des Moines player. He has very similar stats to what I have in the Des Moines. I don't know if that came out right. I don't want to imply that I'm a great cruiser player, because I don't think I am, but he's got pretty solid numbers, like a 60% win rate and good damage numbers, so he clearly knows what he's doing. At this point, I realized that there are 6 to 8 ships, at least 6 ships on this flank, including a couple of radar cruisers, a Baltimore, a Seattle, a Yamato, a Yoshino, and at least one DD. And I think there's somebody else here. The mini-map is pretty small. on my replay view, so bear with me if I missed somebody. But you can see we've already lost an Ibuki, a Kitakaze, a Kid, and we have a Kagero that's heavily damaged. That all came from the C cap, which is ironic because the majority of the enemy fleet is actually down at the A cap with us. So at this point, discretion is the better part of valor, and I am backing off. I wish I could have landed that shot and punished that Seattle, but I missed it. Again, I don't pretend to be a super battleship player, although I do really like the Kremlin. I'm not really sure what it is. I think it's super tough, which allows you to play aggressive. And as I say that, I begin to retreat, of course, but I think in lieu of this flank and knowing that our Akazuki is not a very strong player, I'm not sure, even with this good Des Moines player, that we can tackle 6 ships. So I decided to fall back a little bit. The Des Moines follows suit, which again is a sign of a good player, I think. Sure, he could have sat at that island and got completely blapped, and that would have bought the team nothing. But as you'll see in this video, he really carries his own weight and pulls his own weight, I should say. Even though we're fighting this fight as we backpedal. And of course, the Yoshino hits me really hard and sets me on fire. And you're going to see some common threads here, including the Yoshino and including fires. But this was a pretty fun game. It was frustrating, and I am a little salty in chat. Initially with my Akazuki, and here's a great example. This Akazuki does not know when to go dark and stop shooting. And, in lieu of a Kagero being around him and 2 radar ships, plus a couple really strong cruisers pushing him, he is somehow detected and being focused pretty heavily, and pretty much goes down with little to no impact on the game, which is sad, but a very common thread lately. I know this sounds like a complete bitch fest, but the gameplay and the meta lately has been excruciating, especially as a solo player. I'm more or less finding that unless you're divisioned up with, some Unicum plus players, you really have no chance to impact the game in the current meta. Look at the leaderboard here, or the ship leaderboard on the top, and you'll see that it is now 5 versus 10, and we are only 8 minutes into this game, and we've lost all of our DDs, and we only have 2 battleships left. For some reason, and I don't want to come across as a jackass, because there is actually some really, really strong play in this game. And you're gonna notice at the end the leaderboard is going to reflect the 4 ships that are now remaining, because it is now 4 versus 9, are the top 4 guys on the leaderboard. And I mean, honestly, it's pretty sad when 2, 3, or even 4 ships have an impact on this game, or can have an impact on this game. But I'm thankful that they did. These guys all played their hearts out, and I think it's easy to sit here and watch the video and maybe say, oh, this one or that one had the clutch play that won the game. But the reality is, even this Des Moines that's with me right now, even though he doesn't finish top of the leaderboard, he really carried his own weight and did have a massive impact on this game. So at this point, I've only got 47,000 damage. Not a very strong game by any means. I'm not landing the shots that I should. And keep in mind, well, I don't want to make an excuse, but this is post-Kremlin Sigma nerf. And I'm surely not blaming that. The bottom line is I'm not the strongest, by any means, strongest battle player in the game. But again, myself and this Des Moines have been backpedaling and at least keeping, you know, this half dozen ships occupied. Now, the Sea Flank has taken out a couple ships, but considering how many ships they had up there and how many ships they've lost and their actual impact, I will say that they didn't really carry their weight. Although, again, there are a couple ships, the Des Moines and the Rune in particular. I think we lost 3 DDs up there, which is just ridiculous. And again, very common lately. There was also an Ibuki that pushed it to the cap early on, into the sea cap, and just totally got blapped, which I really don't know what he thought was going to happen. There's a pretty solid hit. I'll take that. So we quickly went from about 47,000 damage up to about 70k. And our team is double fire from the Yoshino. Unfortunately, I have to burn my damage control there, put that out. I'm not going to let 2 fires burn on me. You'll also notice that I haven't gone dark, which is something I see a lot. I see a battleship get lit on fire, go dark, and run for cover, and run. And, I mean, me going dark and not shooting my guns, although I haven't had a huge impact on the game, isn't really going to help us in any capacity. So, our Des Moines gets another kill. The Des Moines that has been up at the sea cap actually has 3 kills, so kudos to him. I get a big hit on the Yoshino finally. I land a decent shot at distance and jack him for 19k, which felt good. That annoying noise you can hear in the background is my dog chewing on a bone. Hey, go. Sorry about that. I didn't realize he was sitting behind me chewing a bone for a little bit. Now he's out in the dining room chewing a bone. So, I'm going to continue and try and keep these cruisers, who are obviously just damage farming. I'm going to try to keep the pressure on these guys. I would really like to get this Buffalo out of here. He's been super annoying. And I give these guys credits. I mean, they really... Oof. Our Des Moines goes down. The Des Moines that's been running with me. And again, I think he only had 1 kill. But he was really instrumental in this game, to be honest. He did a great job. I know he was on his heels backpedaling the whole time, as I was. But, I mean, I surely wouldn't have the success that I've had or will have without his help. And I don't make light of people's contribution. And, oof, we get a big hit on that Seattle and absolutely wipe him out. Dev Strike, I want to say that was almost 30k. So big hit. This is a little sketchy right here when you see a DD smoke up super close. I knew there was a Kagero near me. Earlier in the game I had pinged the map thinking the Kagero came out of the B cap on us. But if I'm not mistaken, the Des Moines radared and wasn't able to pick him up. So I just had a weird feeling that there was still a DD around. And my timing on that turn was awesome. There's another sit on the Yoshino, who I think has actually made a big mistake here. The Yoshino strength is in long distance harassment, not in CQB. And oof, yeah. So there's 2 Kageros. One is really close. I take a horrible shot at him. He turns out on me and totally jukes the shot. I focus my secondaries. I don't think you can see that in the replay, but I focus my secondaries on him. And luckily for me, I'm able to dodge both sets of his reload booster torps. And this Yoshino ran aground, and that was a tragic mistake for him. This is not a boat you want to be caught close to broadside. And I'm not sure if he got his torpedoes off, but that was a 33,000 damage volley, and I think 2 citadels, so we will take that. Now it's 2 versus 2. They have a massive points lead. If you look on the mini map, it looks, ooh, and I get radared, but I'm not really worried about the radar. I wish he would fire on me so I could tell where that buffalo is. I believe it's a buffalo. I want to say Baltimore, but it is a buffalo. Unfortunately, looking at the mini map, I see the Yamato was in B. I don't really have. I mean, it looks like he was 50% health, which is kind of scary considering we have a full health Des Moines over there. At this point, both myself and the Des Moines have 3 kills. Ooh, and the buffalo decided to turn around. I think he was just turning out to get away from me. But the fact that I actually turned back in to go after the Yoshino and now after him has really screwed up his plans. The Yamato gets spotted very, very, very close to the Des Moines. Again, that is not a great position to be in as a Des Moines player. But again, hats off to these guys. Also, quick mention of the Rune. The Rune was able to get, I believe he killed one of the Kageros and took a big chunk out of the other one as I called him out. And I'm debating taking a shot at the Yamato here. I have a feeling we're going to lose our Des Moines, and I just want to get this guy, and time is really running out. You can see in chat that our team is encouraging our Des Moines player to ram the Yamato. I didn't notice that at the time, and I didn't notice that he actually rammed him during the game. I was heavily focused on the Buffalo. So at this point, I think we're basically going to lose. Somebody in chat says, you got one shot. I reply, Wilco. I take it, and I take him out. And it's at this point that I realize we actually won the game. Yes, I had literally the last second shot. If you look at the counter, it was at 998 when I hit the Buffalo and took him out. I get 2 devastating strikes, fireproof, close quarters, dreadnought, and a high caliber. So for me, a great game. 193K is an awesome game for me in the Kremlin. And 6 Citadels, so I can't complain about that. Top of the leaderboard, 2200. This is actually when I realized we won. I thought 2200 was high for a loss, and then I looked over and realized that we had actually won the game. I had to go back to the leaderboard, the first screen, and realize that we actually won that game. And again, the Rune and the 2 Des Moines, hats off to those guys. We account for 10 of the kills. 4 ships, 10 of the kills. That means about half of our team had little to no impact. I saw most of the ships I engaged. The Alsace was finished off by the Des Moines, and the Yamato was probably finished off by the other Des Moines later on. But yeah, pretty good damage on a bunch of cruisers. They paid the price for dealing with me, and I hope it was worth it for chasing. We took 2.4 million potential damage, so that's not too shabby. And of course, we got some credits and some Captain XP and XP. So I hope you enjoyed the video. It feels good to be doing videos again. Hopefully, I got one more video. It's going to kind of allow me to vent, and then hopefully we'll get back on track and just do some good gameplay videos. Thanks for watching.